I don't know how religious you are. You may be highly religious, somewhat religious, or not religious at all. You may be highly spiritual, somewhat spiritual, or not spiritual at all. And that is your own personal choice. And far be it from me to tell you what you should believe and how you should act. Your own morality pretty much dictates that. I have issue with people who profess how Christian they are, how much into Jesus they are, if you're a Christian, obviously, how much they are out there to do the right thing according to the teachings of the scriptures. Now, you may wonder why I have a picture of Mike Pence up here. It's simple. Every Christian, or every person, I should say, who professes to be a Christian, a good Christian, is not. Just plain and simple. It's not. And in my opinion, Mike Pence is one of these fake Christians. Now, I say that because if you read the Bible, especially the New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, which pretty much detailed the life and teachings of Jesus, the one thing that you should come away with is that Jesus had love pretty much for everybody. Yeah, he did go into the temple and beat all the money changers and the people that turned his father's house into a den of thieves. Yeah, that's righteous indignation. And he did get ticked off at the fig tree that didn't have any fruit, and he cursed the tree, and when they came back, the tree withered and died. So, yeah, he could get angry, which is a human emotion. And not just a human emotion, because God got angry at people too, and that's why he had the flood and various other things throughout the Old Testament. But the purpose of the New Testament was to come to a reconciliation between God and man. Now I'm getting religious, so let me get away from that, okay? So you can tell I'm fairly religious. Mike Pence professes, again, to be a good Christian. And that brings me to a particular verse in the book of Matthew, chapter 7:21. Look it up for yourself. I'm going to try to paraphrase it. Basically, it says, not everybody who says to Jesus, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the ones that do the will of his Father, who also obviously is in heaven. So people will profess to know Jesus spiritually, but are far removed from him. Now, I went through that 4.5 minutes of biblical talk to make this particular point. You see this man in front of you? His name is Keith Cooper, and he was wrongfully convicted of a robbery and sentenced to 40 years in jail. Well, he had a really good attorney, and his attorney stayed on it. It was found through the use of DNA evidence, good old DNA, that this man was innocent. And Mike Pence was asked to pardon this man because he had been wrongfully convicted. It was so bad that the prosecuting attorney, the district attorney, sent a letter to Mike Pence 2.5 years ago telling the governor that this man had been wrongfully convicted and asking the governor to pardon him, which would have been the most expedient. Obviously, Mike Pence, if he were a Christian, would have taken a look at the letter and all the evidence and done the Christian thing, which would have been to pardon the man. But no, not Mike Pence. Mike Pence told this man that he should seek redress from the judicial system. 2.5 years later, okay, and let me back up. The judicial system turned around and said that they would vacate the robbery charge if he would cop to a simple assault charge, which obviously he didn't do. Now, they were doing that in order to protect themselves from being sued for a wrongful conviction and Mr. Cooper being able to recover something financially. Well, Mr. Cooper obviously knew that he hadn't committed the robbery, and he knew that he hadn't committed any assault. So he said no, he wasn't copping to any of it. You know, you guys know that I'm innocent. You guys know that I wasn't nowhere in the vicinity. So why are you asking me to cop to something that you know for a fact that I didn't do? Well, that brings us to this gentleman. This is the hand-picked successor to Mike Pence for governor of Indiana. His name is Eric Holcomb. Mr. Holcomb did something in 30 days that Mike Pence refused to do for 2.5 years. Mr. Holcomb pardoned Mr. Cooper. His comments were, it was just the right thing to do. Now, he could have said it was not just the right thing to do, but the Christian thing to do, but obviously he wasn't going to take a shot at his former boss because Mr. Holcomb was the lieutenant governor before he became the governor of Indiana. Now, I will say this. Mr. Holcomb obviously was looking out for the state of Indiana as well, because though he pardoned him on the robbery charge, he let stand the obviously much less serious charge of assault. So he didn't pardon him on that, so that Mr. Cooper won't be in a position to sue the state. But all in all, this could have been done 2.5 years ago. Now, obviously, Mr. Cooper is ecstatic. He's gone on various TV shows and stated, how happy he is. He's out. He's going to take his family to Disney World, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. His attorney is still looking at trying to do something with that assault charge that was left standing. But back to the fact that Mr. Mike Pence couldn't find it in his Christian heart to do the right thing and to provide justice for Mr. Cooper. There was no justice, or is no justice in Mike Pence's heart. There is no compassion for his fellow man in Mike Pence's heart. There is no empathy in Mike Pence's heart. He basically was catering to that element in our society, and yes, it's there, that has hatred in its heart for a certain segment of people. And in Mr. Pence's state of Indiana, there are a large number of a certain group that he caters to, or did cater to. And those people are the same people that Mr. Trump has catered to throughout both his campaign and now his particular presidency. So again, everybody that says they're a Christian damn sure ain't. So, Mike Pence, when it comes time for you to get your final review, I hope this is one of the things that comes up that you were judged on.